That's this and any of the outcome. Jewish.
And uncle, you only gave one joke in the low income. You went to a wedding and forgot
I may. My kids.
Someone asked me a question this week. They're waiting for a check from their employer, but there is it's the season of fundraising, and they want to give to some campaigns that they feel for. Could they give money, prepay their Maaser? So say they're owed $3,000. They want to give now $300 to tzedakah. But the meantime, they didn't get the check. The check is in the mail.
Let's take the 600.
Huh?
600. They have the 600.
No. 10%. That wasn't the question. The question was about the Maaser. Okay, so it touches on
Because you're going to get it with them. You give it to you or give it to someone else.
and the organization. No, they want to give it to online campaign. They want to give it to
Rabbi from the organization's in the Gabbadover. He wants the money now.
So I found in a Shabbos of Tshuva Sefer called Shalmei Simcha. Shade Simcha, I'm sorry, Shade Simcha. Shade Simcha is a Yid. His name is Reb Simcha Bamberger. He was was born in the year 1899. He was a Rav. No, he's not around. He passed away. He was a Rav there in Germany until 1939. He got his doctorate on his paper was written on Über die Bedeutung des Kri und Ketiv, published in the Jorbach der Jüdische Literatur Gesellschaft. And he was a Rav in Stuttgart.
Yiddish?
No, it's not Yiddish. It's German. He was a Rav in Stuttgart. But he was, Bamberger is like for a family of Rabbonim in Germany. That today,
I had a friend by that name.
right. Half of Ner Yisrael is Bambergers, no? So he wrote us. It's interesting that whoever put together his sefer writes that you see most of the Shalos HaTshuvos is about integrity in business question. There were Yedei Mishleimim in Germany. There were Kehilas that had, that were very from people. And there was a lot of questions about integrity in business and giving Maaser, v'chulu v'chulu. There were Kehilas that had a lot of Erlich Yidden in Germany. So someone asked them about taking Maaser from his properties and also from like bonds, stocks, and so on. So it's a long tshuva. At the end, he writes, "Atike balti mit tovcha yoker v'samachti moed v'mashe veisem b'sefer Yosef Oimetz." Yosef Oimetz is a Talmud of I think the Trumas Hadeshin. And he writes, real estate, they don't give Maaser on real estate. But if you have real estate and you're making money, people are paying you for rent, that you do give Maaser. That you have to give from the paydas.
The Mishnah addresses that issue if you give Maaser from Karkos?
No.
Did you mention Yerush?
Yeah.
Yerush is you inherit something.
Right. So he says because if he bought Karka, person could say what do you mean why are you going to double tax me? The money I gave before I bought it's not fair to double tax me. But this guy got a piece of Karka B'Yerusha, so he's not being double taxed. He didn't pay for it. So that's the Shaila.
What you mean?
Gift at his wedding. Dowry. Like in Neil and his daite, in a Yorish Mukhiv Lahafish Mais, Mishtoris Ere, Vert Papiria, Ad Shim Kuroisa. Mishtoris Ere probably bonds or stock or any, to be both. Ad Shim Kuroisa, until he sells them. Vema Shikosa, Bechuvak Sam Sefer Yerdei Sim Kuflam Adalad, Yesh Chiluk Mishtoris Kesav, Banknoten, שמוכרחים לקחויס על תשלום על פי דין המלכוסה, מה שאין בשטור שורס, אין עוד המוכרח לקחויס בתשלום אלא שטר בעלמה ואין גופו נמומה. Ein Shom.
Check.
What's the pshat?
Check.
No. Yeah, check versus a dollar. What's the some sofer says, and I quoted it some sofer. So you said musid for a lot of things, so therefore I figured, even though it's a difficult shuvach some sofer, but the nekuda it's negay to us. On every dollar bill it says this note is legal tender for all debt, public and private. So this is what the Chassam Sofer is saying. Chassam Sofer is saying, and you'll read it soon inside, that Yosef Mitzadina de Malchusa, it's written on the note that this note is legal tender for all debt. That means if I owe you $1 and I give it to you, you can't say no. Let's go to Fort Knox and let's get. I mean, in the time when when the dollars still had something in Fort Knox,
Even today, they have to accept the dollar. Any bank or any
right, every mechuyev to accept it, and a person can't refuse to say no, I don't want $1. Give me a Bitcoin. You can't do that. So
what about Mishum? People come to collect money. I give them $1. I say I take only 5.
Nein, Gemara, Baba Metzia, Pedig Dalit, Indian, no, Sim Kora Mimker, Lamisaka, David Falcon. What's a Stodus? Shane, dem Edla, Leraya Balma. The Kivin Shekain, that we see the Chazala Madama, Stodus to Karkos. So he says that it makes just like we usually Chazal Madam Shtoris to Karkos, many things, like all kinds of things. So the Kivin Shekain needle in his diet, Gamlin Yamaisa didn't Karkos, Vena Chayv Asra, Machiach, Levim Koros of Anasis Mama. Makomakum Indian Vertishere Adain Suffolk Etzli. There was some type of, bonds that he did have a Suffolk in his mind. I'm not sure the difference between Verteshira and Vertpapira. So you have to go to the Yiddish Gesellschaft and find out, what's the difference. I'm joking. This I meant to say here the Juberach der Jüdische Literatur Gesellschaft. Maybe over there we'll find out. It is. I would guess. Probably the difference of these two things, of Vert Papira and Vert Stiere, is probably like the difference of a bond did or did not mature yet. Probably he's talking about his Suffolk is probably in such papers that it's like only Mechusa Maisa. It's like almost you can almost give it to someone else, like a bond that's already mature. If you owe someone money, not talking about $1 or $2, so a person might take from you. It's a mature bond, and it's backed by the United States of America. You owe him $10,000. Instead of taking cash, I'll take the bond. So
then you have to give money right away.
So that's what he's saying. He's mesupik. He's this because it's such a it's already mature. That I think I don't know. If someone look up what's called in German, what's the difference between Vert Papira and Vert Stiere, then you know the difference. Sam Sofer is here. Geder Matbeya. Very geschmack piece in some Sofer. Geder Matbeya. Because it really has to do with what I mentioned the other day in a drosha 3 weeks ago, about the value of matbeyas today. Because there's no gold or silver backing it. Flal.
They have a printing machine.
They have a printing machine.
What does not pay me?
Point, money, currency. Avogeder matbeya, who shegozer amelach alov sheteitze, u'mishememan melimker v'likach boise matbeya yechayev roish el malchus. The din of the malchus. Today maybe it's not going to chayev roish, but maybe under Franz Joseph. It'd be chayev roish el melech. I mean, this would kill the entire economy if a business will be very insulted. The business will not take the currency of that melech. the Melech loses his Malchus. So he'll for sure he's chayiv rosh el Malchus. Within the Malchus, then emes mishpat tzedek. V'le Malchus the ara lachud gazalov. V'le Malchus the rekia yisborach shmoik. U'mash k'mavor beperik pasum shanogu. V'haina madbei shegufei moment. V'ein chiluk im yizov v'kesef v'nayer. He says, I don't care if the currency is made of zov, kesef, or pieces of paper, like the dollar bill. That you're going to say that the dollar is l'ray. I mean, in the days of the Chassam Sofer, and even in America until whatever, somewhere in the 70s when they stopped going with the gold standard. Silver standard. Yeah, the gold is a very bad currency to go with. I mean, most of the Welt was always going with a silver currency. So in the days of Chassam Sofer, there was something backing the currency, but ein loimer bazeh that the value of the dollar is how much silver is sitting for it in the bank in Fort Knox. No. According to not sure exactly. It means basically sometimes people would rather not, maybe they melt down the currency means, or maybe they just, but they can't. They can't.
Or whatever it is.
Huh?
They were at war and they were afraid that it was going to be devalued.
So the Malchus was very, very scared.
Yeah.
You can't play around, bottom line, with the currency. You have to use it, and you can't melt it, and you can't hold it back, you can't stockpile it, something like that. If you can't yisad, amelach, nimtza, raya, shaloi, ein shov lahem, rak agzeda, ki amakamem es tivam ba'olam. Mashenkin shtar, afila al osher, ayoyse godl, afila al melech v'mei osheroi, asher bevada yiyah over la soicher, l'chol odom, mikol mokem, ein elef ne'araya shabbai, sheyodim shezo odom batuach, אבל אין גופי momen, she'im yirtza shaloi likhe miyokve al zeh. Mashenkin, if you have a contract with someone, so who's going to force you to take it? I owe you $100. Someone gave me a check $100. I can't force you to take that check. Okay, kola bank take v'kupfer whatever. Ein other muchich likachosem b'tashlumim mishavya ela b'shtar b'alma unless he wants as a shtar. If he's ein sofik etzli ani banko. The banknotes, Hema Kesef Gomer Afilu Lakadosh Isha, Vahave Shaper Dumya de Efren Achiti, Ve'im Kemamela Have Kesef Lifta Segadoshes U Maaser Sheni. So that's his conclusion. It's negay. It's a very complicated trip. Negay to Ibis. And negay when the government changed the currency, devaluated or something, and that was the really. But he in the B'Torah Advorim, he wants to establish his opinion on how it works. Apidin Torah with currency. So he's machadash a gewaldige thing that the value of modern currency is not the gold and silver that might back it. It's the fact that there's the emes hamalchus and dina de malchus adina, and they say that this is legal tender for all debt, public and private. Mamish, like he writes, a person's muchich lekabel me'emes hamalchus. If you owe me $1, I can't refuse taking from you this dollar. So Mamela, if a person is giving Mekadosh and Isha with $1, this whatever the value of a pruta, will establish if $1 is a shav pruta. So there's no question that 100% is Mekadesh, Raisa, and it's a Kiddushin Gomur, 100%. Okay. Then he has a very cute shaila. Yesh la'ayin linyam pidyon b'choir, b'hayni banka, in the banknotes. Just like you could be paid a hekdesh ma'aser sheni, and the kedusha will pick itself up from the fruits and go on to these dollar bills. So why should you not be able to do pidyon abachor? They're all din de raisa that involve money. Nearly lord and lachalak. They called over shabin adam lachaveda. I feel a pidyon hekdesh sheini ella koinem megizber hekdesh u'mamalach yisraini shal gizber bedover. The Gizbor has 100 widgets. He doesn't know what to do with it. He's sitting in the Beis HaMikdash. He needs to pay the gas bills for the Beis HaMikdash. And he has a stockpile of widgets. He has nothing to do with it. So he sells those stuff and he takes the money and he pays the gas bills, right? So that's beside it. So the Gizbor has to be a Malachis, instead of the things that he has in his storage house, he gets the dollar bills. Kein Pidya Maaser Sheni, that he can't schlep all the apples to Yerushalayim, so he puts the kedusha from the apples on the dollars he uses to buy fruits and meat in the marketplace in Yerushalayim. Yeshlema kol tiva the sagi ba'alma apik zeres amalchus alakoinim halamochim poidim boy v'nikra madbeya for that, and also in Yeshua and in Shomrim. It's whatever the Torah needs a madbeya. This is called a madbeya if the Gzeres HaMalchus for the Moich and the Koine to take it. Mashenke Pidyon Shepoidem HaKadosh Baruch Hu Havalei Kol Bechor has to do with this with Pasha because of Yosef HaTzadik. So Oibazoi, this is a different thing because the Li Kol Bechor Shekadosh Baruch Hu Nasu Pidyon Elakoin Avli Kara Pidyon HaKadosh Baruch Hu HaKadosh Baruch Hu Kotsu Pidyon Hei Sloim Sheyesh Bahem Hei Loi Tukvint Kislev Mezuka Kafilo Noisen like Koin Madbeya Kislev Shavala Kachel Tzura Ini Yoitza Idechvosa Ad Shia Madbeya Kislev Mezuka Kashir Anal Bavada Nekoshis Shebetoiche. They used to mix in those days. They used to make madbeyas. They used to Kislev. If Kislev was more expensive, Nekoshis used to be cheap. So even though officially there's one madbeyas Kislev, they used to mix in some Nekoshis.
Copper.
Yeah. So what some Sefer is saying that say that you have here the value of 5 sloim in the weight, but it's 50% kesef and 50% nachoishes. So if it would have been like Abishvus Hashemrim, might have been mikzas, Fus Eides, it would have been pidyon Maaser Sheni, if it would have been pidyon hektish, if you were makadosh and isha. And it's not a full kesef shavapruta, but the bottom line is that the Malchus said that this coin should be considered a pruta. That's what the Gezeres Malchus is for the koinim and the moichim. So that's 100% a madbeya min haTorah. But over here, Lagabe the Eibishter, it's different. Why? To us, the Tzuras HaMatbeya has a big chivas. So what's the difference? How much gold or silver? Is there really a little drop of gold or silver woven in the dollar? The Tzuras HaMatbeya, not the Choymer HaMatbeya. The Tzuras HaMatbeya makes the currency a currency. Vu adin, banknoten. Afile yitem aloi beisai to the Eibishter kivish b'shavyim ein lem klum rak mi kepedes hamalchus v'zeh loi shayach klape maila. Very interesting chiddush. So anyway, the bottom line, some sefer is machadish, and it's very important to tell many issues that could be negeya. That there's a huge difference between a dollar bill and a check. If you have a check and a dollar bill, someone's going to say, but the dollar is no value to the dollar. The value of the dollar is how much silver is sitting in the bank or whatever. So the answer is no. The Tzuras HaMatbeya is Gzeres HaMalchus, and because on the dollar it's written, this note is legal tender for all debt, public and private, this becomes a Matbeya. If a person is Makadosh and Isha, she's Mekudeshes, and she's a Min HaTorah, she's an Eishes Ish, with all the Chumras in it. However, one thing he has, that when you're Poida Bechor, so you're giving 5 sloim to the Rebbeinu Shalom, and the Rebbeinu Shalom made that let's call what Donald Trump says, or what Mr.
Dollar says in God we trust.
Very good, Hackett, they trust, but they trust in God, but God doesn't trust in them. So it doesn't matter what Mr. Biden says, or Mr. Trump says. Klapi Maila, the Tzuras of Elamai, the Eibishter said that if you have a madbeya that has this and this weight, it has to be a madbeya also, but it has to have a certain madbeya of that the Torah said, which according to some sefer was hey loit kvint, whatever hey loit kvint is.
We have 925 silver, so it's not pure silver.
So that's what I have to cheshbon.
Over.
That's an cheshbon. So Taka, there's a Jacob store you can buy, and they have yeah.
Well, it's not so much a month from the person, but something. But the fact is that in the economy that we live in, this piece of paper has intrinsic value. Because, like, let's say if you want to sell a dollar bill, it'll go for $1.
Right. Essentially, that's what he's saying. No, that's what he's saying. The Taka, the shaila would be like a Bitcoin. There are countries that allow that these Mickey Mouse currencies should be used. So
not real. They're not real.
There is real estate
Huh?
you want them to be.
$100,000.
There is real estate you want them to be real.
So, but in America, Lepoil,
It's a stock market. You're buying.
oh, so in America, so like this, if you own $1, take Maaser, take 10 cents on the dollar. If you have a check, or you have a Bitcoin, or you have a stock, or any of these things, there's shtoris. And just like Karkos, there's no Maaser on Karkos. So the same Maaser Ksofim. The same thing, there's no Maaser Ksofim on a Bitcoin, there's no Maaser Ksofim. Huh? No, when you sell it, yeah. But that's what he's saying. When you turn it into cash. His only Sofit, this guy Sham Simcha, is not a huge person, but still, he was a Choshev. He had smicha from Rabbi Hildesheim. I mean, he had a little bit of a suffix about certain type of, probably more than just Bitcoin or stock. Something, like I said, he meant bonds that are mature. So it's partial like dollar bills in your hand. So for that he was misuper. Even that, it's not clear.
It's money not from the bank gave them.
Right. So, but Bitcoin, a check, all these things. They're shtar. Bitcoin is even worse than a shtar. You don't know. One day they say it's worth 100,000 in stock. Tomorrow it could be worth 50 cents. The rest are garnished. Until you sell, you don't know even what it's worth. But
a check you do know.
A check you do know, but still, in gufa moment. That's the difference between this and a check. This is called gufa moment. And a check is a shtar. Ein gufa moment. Even if the king,
Check can bounce.
a check can bounce.
That's true. Money.
And even if it's a certified check, it doesn't matter. You're right. A check could bounce.
So
A money order, a check that can't bounce, doesn't matter. That's why the Chassam Sofer mentioned what happens if the melech will give you a shtar. This is still not, even though the same melech.
What's the problem?
Because it's not gufay moment. The Torah says that there is currency, things that are gufay moment, and there's shtoris. What's the difference of a shtar? A shtar is something which is, that's what I'm saying. That's why what's written on the American dollar bill is really the Chassam Sofer. When this paper says this note is legal tender for all debt, public and private, that's called gufay moment. That's called gufay moment. Meshenkein, the same king, if he's going to give you IOU a note, and he owes you the money, the Zaba Melech, the Amos Malchusa, they're using the currency, that's called a shtar. It's a good shtar, but it's still a shtar. It's not gufay moment. So therefore, Lagabe, our question, Maaser Ksofim is on money, not on a check. So even if the check can't bounce, it doesn't matter. You don't give Maaser until you actually cash it. Now, once you took a picture and it's money in your bank, that it's called money already. That's called money because in Gzeres HaMalchus you could already use that money. So that's already used money. That's already called Gufay Mammon. If you didn't say that, there could be a person that's is in a year is moving a huge amount of money, and in his pocket he's fumbling to get that dollar in the morning. Before because Rabbi Lezav you have prutalodni bahadei matzli, so einon moitzim yedena veragleinu bebeis hamedrash. No one's ever going to give my 6 of them because it already shows up in your account, and you could use it to pay debt v'chulu. So then you could take Maaser. But before you cash your check, you cannot take Maaser from it. But then, and it's still true in a certain level. But then I realized that
Does that mean you're not hired to give Maaser, or you can't give it?
So now, because the person that asked me really wants to give it, because I think the answer is simple. There's a machloikis poiskim, Maaser Ksofim is the Reise, the Rabbonon, or Minhoge Ba'alma. So I would say like this, very, very simple. If you say Maaser Ksofim is the Reise, let me ask you a question. If I ordered a box of apples, I pulled up Blue Ribbon, I pulled pomegranate, they should deliver to my house a box of apples, and we're in Eretz Yisrael, or even the places, we're somewhere that was chayiv b'trumas u'maiseres. Now, before the fruits were delivered to my house, I already took, and I gave 1 apple for truma and 10 apples for the truma is nishkin truma, the maaser is nishkin maaser, and the box of apples are still tevel, and it's the first mishnah in Maseches Truma. It's clear. So same thing here. If you say maaser ksofim is deraisa, if someone owes me money, it's worse. It's worse than a box of apples that a person owes me. He owes me money. It's a kindness. It's not like it's my money in his pocket. There's no if he owes me $100 and then there was an oinus and that $100 bill burnt, can he say I don't owe you? No, because it's a skybus on him. So this is mamish. If it was Maaser Ksofim would be the Raisa, it would be impossible to say that if someone owes me $100 or $3,000, I take Maaser from that. Even from a check, I can't take Maaser. Kolshkein, if a guy owes me money, how can I take him? And even if it's derabanan, you could say Kain de Raisa Tikna. But if you say it's minhag ba'alma, that Maaser is a minig, it's very different. Then you have to know what the minig is. It's a minig to give Maaser Ksofim. Maybe it's very strong. It's like a neder. A minig is, when we say minhag ba'alma, we don't mean chas v'shalom to say that it's something to take lightly.
Kula shirs, everybody wants to.
Exactly. And that's one of the rayas that they bring, that it might not be a deraisa, because the Gemara says why the people in Bavel are very rich, because they're very medayik and Maaser Ksofim. So if it's a deraisa, why would that be a zgula? So others say no, because they're mekayim that mitzvah. And that mitzvah is asher shuril asher. So nishkeraya. But there is taka, those that say, you see, that Gemara is a raya that it's a minig ba'alma. Otherwise, why would that give you ashiras? But anyway, the bottom line, it's nishkin gelechter. But if it's a minig, so then you can say, look, that's all part of the minig. The minig is a person can't keep cheshbon. The guy owes me and he gave me. You know, every week you have it. If you would say it's a deraisa,
I tell the poor guy, come back to me in a week.
Yeah, exactly. it's the extension in mitzvah tzedakah. That's exactly. It's like a joke. The mitzvah tzedakah is to give tzedakah. Elamai klal yisrael kima v'kiblu alayu miminhoga, and maybe zeichel mikdash for many really reasons. Because it used to be in times of Beis Hamikdash, it was a different type of economy, and people were trading things and bartering things, and the Aniyim would come and take pay and this and the Kohenim were getting leave. So now, but we want to still. So we're giving. Okay. Bottom line is, I think that the Lepoil Mamas and Shulchan Aruch has brought the piece of Tshuva. There are many places can pass like the Bach that said that it's not a deraisa, it's not a derabanan, it's a minhoga. So from this, I would like to take out that it would be, to my mind, a davar poshut, that it be mutter. Not only if there's a check in your hand, but even if you know bevadai that someone said the check is in the mail, you trust them, it's not a joke. The check, whatever, I send it to you. And now you just want to round up your numbers and you want to give.
Check in his hand.
Huh?
He has it in his hand, which is no positive.
Right. But I'm saying, even if you didn't get it yet in your hand, still I would say you round up the cheshbon and you want to give. It's not like Trumas or Maaser, and it's 100% mutter to do.
I think that the best proof that it's only it's a minhag is that the very fact that in the Mishnah there are several misachtot and Seder Zeraim, and they're expanded in the Rishon and Zeraim, all about Maaser, Rishon, Maaser Shinei, all this, and it never says anything.
Yeah, it's a very good raya. True. It's a very good raya.
Why only the Maaser stay? We have all the others not staying. Only Maaser, but Yosef Atzadik was the first one to do it.
What do you mean? Avram Avinu, Vayitan leMaaser Mekod. Avram Avinu gave Maaser.
No, but first was Yosef.
Avram Avinu gave Maaser, and Yitzchak gave Maaser.
Wrong for Yosef.
Yeah, Meir showed him. Okay, two quick questions. One is, someone asked me about, and I'm not sure if we once discussed it. Someone asked me about we finished Baruch Hashem this week. We're assigned to learn the halachas of Neder Shabbos Kodesh. We were assigned with a really juicy Kuntasach Alter Rebbe. Someone asked me, my daughter asked me this question, that, we say the bracha, we cover our eyes, and we say, Yehirotzen Shebana Beis Hamikdash, and then she says, I see mommy is davening there. So isn't that a hefsek between making the bracha And l'choida, why are we covering our eyes? Because the bracha should be over lasiyosan. First you make the bracha and then you do the mitzvah. So the reason why women cover their eyes, they make the bracha, and then they're nena from the oil, so it's over lasiyosan. Why they don't do it the other way? Whatever, we learned about it. But
Paradim do the opposite.
then what do?
They cover their eyes.
They cover their eyes, the light, and then they make the bracha.
Okay, so now I have the problem. So why do they have to cover their eyes? So why have to cover their eyes?
That's a minhag. I don't know why.
Listen,
Different.
I understood that covering eyes in terms of halacha, but Hefsek and stuff like that. They're willing it to have kavanah, personal kavanah.
No, why? No. The Shulchan Aruch says that the Shin Simon Reish Samach Gimel, that the reason to put their hands is in order to have it over lasiyosan. That
In
Amos
other words,
says
the
it.
women would do it anyway.
You're saying the women that Amos' mother did it,
No.
and then that Amos decided to give a tam to it. I hear. He doesn't say it that way. The way he's,
The women have.
I hear.
But
I hear
Like
what you're
Shema,
saying.
like saying Shema.
But it doesn't sound that way if you read the Ramah. But you could say that. Anyway, the shaila remains based on what the Ramah says. Even if his mother did that and then he decided to give a kol masha efsha yelos l'tam ten l'tam. But okay, so yeah, the tam has to make sense. So I would say two things, two answers. One answer is that the Alter Rebbe says in Kuntas Achron that sometimes the Chazat said that if you have no choice, if you can't make the bracha before, you have to make it after. For example, by Tefilla, they said the goy can't make a bracha before he's toivel, so let him toivel and then he make the bracha. It said from this we learn that also got Tefilla Sidaim, because sometimes you can't make the bracha. So you wash your hands and then you make Al Tefilla Sidaim. That's why we will make the bracha then of Meshafshef, because Meshafshef is a little bit of a chelik of the mitzvah. So, but still, we're making, so the Alter Rebbe has a svara that if you're already making the bracha after, so Ezek Vul Yesh Bedover. So once Chazal said already after, is after. So there is a svara that really, there's no choice here. So, because they don't want to make the bracha first, because in their mind, they're making the bracha the Makabel Shabbos.
Before the Yotzim, they should cover their eyes and look at the candles.
There is, oil, that's what they're doing. No, the Nachman Yasha is in the minute. The other thing I would say is there is a beautiful tshuva from the Rebbe in the last page in Sefer Minhagim Chabad. There is a machloikis lagabe Rosh Hashanah. The a lot of Sidurim bring the minig to say Aboide Prio Eitz, and then to dip the apple in the honey, and to say Yerotzim al Falecha Shetachad Shaleinu Shana Toivam Sukkah before eating it. It's a hefsek between the bracha and the achila to say Yerotzim. The Mogan from the Alter Rebbe Paskin that you should take a bite of the apple and then say the Yerotzim. L'poil the minik Chabad is to do the way it's written in the Siddur that we say the Yerotzim before we eat the apple. So the Rebbe says the emes it's but the ovid it's not a hefsek, because if a person says nuli melach is not a hefsek. You're not supposed to make a hefsek, but if you have a real important reason to make a hefsek, you're allowed to make the hefsek. What's the very important reason? The very important reason is because the Gemara says in Christus to make simonim in the night of Rosh Hashanah, and we can't make brachas. We can't start making our own brachas, but we want it should be like a bracha. Should be like a bracha. We want it to be a bracha. So we have no choice. Once you already ate the apple, it's a hefsek from the bracha. So therefore, the ovad you're not a hefsek, because like nuli melach and lachatchila we're doing it in order the night of Rosh Hashanah because of the important thing of a siman toiv that the bracha should be like a bracha smucha lechaverta. We can't make our own brachas, but there's a minig Yisrael to say techadash l'shana toivim sukkah, and it's going to be part of the bracha. So I would say the same thing could be said over here. The same thing could be said here. That that's brought that the Mogavram brings from the Ben Bachai and the Shalah that when a person does a mitzvah that's mutal alayim, it's a very big spus. It's Eisrotzen at that time. because lighting Shabbos candles from the three mitzvahs that are mutal on the women, whatever the lomdus is, but Lapoil, that's the Mishnah we're learning now. Al sholosh avedis noshim meses b'shas leidosim. Al shein in the zidis v'nida v'chala b'tlokas aner. So this is a special mitzvah for a woman. And on top of that, the Gemara says that in the schus of the Neder Shabbos, you'll have children that are that'll be me'idim b'toira. So therefore, it's not a hefsek. It's not a hefsek. Why? Because she can't make her own brachas, and she wants to be mispal that her children should be me'idim b'toira. So then this morning I found someone already wrote this thing, the same thing that I said, that Moshe Yitzchak Liblach, actually they had the yeshiva over here till a couple of years ago, and he brings over here a beautiful word. He says from the Sefer of the Magid Mikoshnitz that his father told him that there was a Choshev Tzaddik. His name was he wrote the Sefer Bichas Hazev, the Maseches Kodshim, and he said his father told, I knew the family, the mother. She didn't know one word in Lashon HaKodesh, but she used to say in Russian, after she finished that benching, in Russian she would say, Yirotzen, that my son Shmuel should be a Talmid Chochem. And you see, it worked. It ended up being the Birchas HaZevach. So you can't argue with success. You see, it works.
But after the words Birchas.
What? Oh, yeah. His name was Birchas HaZevach. Yeah. Shmuel.
Who says that's the reason you became a tzaddik?
I know.
No, that's
No, but the Maggid of Kosher that said. So if he said, it's not bad. So the emphasis of the Moshe Liblach in his article, he writes, Bazoi, a woman should only be able to say a tefillah which has a shaykhs, that her children should be Talmid Chachamim. But Stam Azoi, if she wants to put in a tefillah that this week she'll buy a ticket from the Mega Million and she wants to win, if she does a Hefsek. But I would say the emphasis is that there are women that have
The tefillahs don't work if she says it after.
for sure works. That we see it's in the kids Shulchan Aruch brings that the Isha Kshas Ruach the Gidul Bonim Toimer La'acher et Lokas Hanedes Haftoiras Shal Yom Rishon Shel Rosh Hashanah. V'toiv Tfilas Chana v'toiv Tovim Masher Meretz v'toimer Bekavon. It's like it's Shulchan Aruch right. Pashtus. A lot of these women, by the way, that say like a lot of tchinas. Like my Bubby used to have a big book of tchinas, and she used to say in Yiddish the tchinas. So she didn't. I mean, she said, and then she would sit down by the candle and she would say tchinas, tchinas, tchinas. They say, they had a lot of tchinas to say. So women also that are saying in the Hamish Welt, I think till today, there's a lot of women that sit afterwards at the candles and they say certain tchinas about cautious.
I see what your Bobby has had.
Yeah, okay, I hope. So I would say, but still, when there's the other thing that the Alter Rebbe said, that the other svara is that by candles of Shabbos, it's not Shayach Hefsek. It's just like by a Tefilla Sager, that they said the bracha can be afterwards, and once the bracha is after, there's Eng Vul Bedover. Why the women wanted to cover their eyes? Maybe Shat, or maybe also Kol Ma Shadev Sheli Tikunim Metaknina. But still, because there is a svara that it's not really a hefsek, and it's very choshev to women that they should make tefillas, chas v'shalom, that anyone should tell his wife, if you want to talk about Tzvi becoming a Talmid Chochem, Yankala should become a Talmid Chochem, this bakosha you could give. But if you want to ask the Rebbeinu Shalom that you should find the right sheitel, that
shalom bias.
But be'etzem, because the Alter Rebbe says that there's another svara that any bracha that you need to make before and it was bounced after. So really, Ezek Vul Yesh Badover, you could do it 5 minutes of the ger, the toivels, and makes the bracha not 1 minute after the tefillah, 5 minutes after the tefillah. Alter Rebbe says Ezek Vul. Once Chazal said that you could, instead of the bracha before, you could do it after. So 2 minutes after, 5 minutes after, it didn't make such a difference. It's the same thing here. I think could be the Iker, which is going to really what you're saying. That the Iker Tam, the Alter Rebbe says, was because Ezek Vulbish Vedover, that if you can't make the bracha before, you make it after, and then extra thing that Amos said that you should cover their eyes. But really, it's not a hefsek. So therefore, they can make as many, let them daven and let them ask because the Koshin Samagit says that it works.
And the third
The
question?
Skabel Slois, well, the next week we need it.
Okay.
Once asked about David Feinstein, when you give mindset, he said, as soon as you can.
As soon as you can. Okay.
Can't beat that.
You can't beat that.
Whoever wash, David is going to make a zimmer.
Okay. So it goes well with what we were just talking about. As soon as you can.
Thank you. Okay, that's fine.
Oh, yeah. Sure. 1 second. How do I?